Hello everyone, my name is Joshua. This is the 139th video on my video journal series. Today's date is Saturday, the 27th of June, 2026. How's everyone been? I've been pretty good today, but I did feel very tired because these last couple of days, ever since Supernova, I've been running around everywhere, really just, I guess, exhausting myself out. Just um, really feeling tired from the amount of walking I've been doing. So today was pretty much a stay-at-home day. I just used today to basically rest, to stay in bed. Because constantly doing things can wear you down, and it can get you exhausted. So today was a rest day, and it really got me thinking about just staying in one place. Because as a kid, right, you often just have to wait for your parents. If you're a kid watching this, or if you're an adult like me, you can most probably recall a time where you may be like 8 or 10 years old, before you have like all the freedoms of an adult, where you just have to follow your parents around everywhere, and sometimes you have to wait for your parents. This could be, as something as simple as waiting for them to stop talking to someone. When your mom encounters one of her friends at the grocery store, or it could be at the airport. You got to wait for a plane, and naturally you have to be with your parents. You can't like roam off or anything, so you're just often seated in one place for a long period of time. Could also be church, any other social gathering. And obviously, as a kid, right, you have a very short attention span, right? And your sense of time is also very much different to when you're an adult. Because when you're 10 years old, 1 year of your life is 1/10 of your overall life. When you're 20, 1 year is only 1/20th of your life, and it goes so on and so on. So yeah, like a 1 hour road trip like seems like an all day thing as a kid, where now it's like commonplace for me. Um, so yeah, basically, as a kid, you have to sort of use your imagination, and even though you're just like confined to your seat, you just start looking around everywhere. You see the planes outside. You just like see all the people walking by, and I do have some nostalgia for that. And it seems nowadays, I'm just moving around too much. I just like to stay in one spot when I'm out. Maybe sit on a park bench, um, sit down at like a cafe or something, and just like stay there for a long period of time, as long as I can, really, because I just like to take in the scenery. Not every minute I have to be doing something, as much as I want to, but you know, I guess this video journal series, for instance, is I guess the only time of day where I can actually sit down, uh, talk to you or the camera for around half an hour, and really just I guess really just feel um, really just feel relaxed. All right, really just feel relaxed, comfortable. In a good mood, and it just provides me with some sort of rest, a way to, I guess, get me. Um, what would you call it? Get me, I guess, prepared for tomorrow, sort of, because you don't want to end your day on a hard note. You want to end your day on a good note, by talking to the camera about, oh, I had to wait 20 minutes in line at McDonald's. Old man yells at cloud. But I did actually get McDonald's yesterday. I just got the McSmart meal. I think I mentioned that in yesterday's video as well. But you know, that's what this video journal series is about. Me complaining about things and reminiscing about old Hungry Jack's restaurants. But yeah, basically, I just like to stay at one place, right? And it sort of creates that liminal space in your mind. Like, the amount of times as a kid I went to Hungry Jack's, right? I'm using Hungry Jack's as an analogy because it's just in my brain right now. But, those old Hungry Jack's restaurants, the one with the retro diner, the red seats, black and white tiles, and they play the old rock and roll music. Often as a kid, right, you're in that restaurant, you order something, you take a seat, wait for your meal. You're often in that restaurant for like, half an hour, 45 minutes ish. And it sort of creates a liminal space in your mind. You're like, I was there for long enough where I can sort of recall it, right? Um, if I just simply, as a kid with my parents, just walked into Hungry Jack's, got something and left, I doubt I'll be able to like recall all these things. It's because I was seated there for an extended period of time where I'm able to recall these things. And same with like my experience at airports and all that, where I was like, in a seat for like 2 hours because my family always prioritized arriving to the airport early. That I remember all these things. Um, and what other like I guess what other examples of liminal spaces have I experienced? Has there ever been a time where I've like stayed in one place for like hours upon end while outside? Whilst I was outside, sorry. I'm trying to remember. Maybe there was a time. Um, yeah, I can think of a few. A couple of times. When I'm out in the city, for instance, when I'm going bowling with someone, or you know, we're going out to a restaurant or whatever. If I'm waiting for a mate, like you know, at the movie theater because we're going to see a movie. There have been times where I have like waited in the lobby, or waited outside for a friend to come, or for family to come, or for you know uh, something to start essentially. And I remember in Japan, I've most probably told this story before, but I remember I wanted to watch a movie in Japan. It was at a movie theater in Tokyo, and I remember they wouldn't allow me to go inside of the actual theater until 15 minutes before the movie started, or before the ads started, mind you. And I remember like waiting in the lobby, and I have like that very um, distinct memory. I remember, I think it was Toho Theater in Nihonbashi. I still got the movie ticket, by the way, but I very much remember that lobby. There was like these very nice black seats. Mind you, this was in 2024, but there was this very nice black seats. They have like some magazines, books, pamphlets, and all that. It looked very fancy for a movie theater. Not gonna lie, I wouldn't expect something like that at event cinemas. In fact, I don't think at event cinemas or Hoyts they actually have seating in the lobby anymore, which is surprising. But Japanese movie theaters, yeah, they have like pretty good lobbies, but on the downside, they have like a very, I guess, strict time frame for where they like allow you into the movie theater. Actually, I was wrong about event cinemas and Hoyts. They don't have seating within the uh, I guess within the public area of the lobby. But once you go through the ticket gate, once you show your ticket to the person at the booth or whatever, there are seats there. But you have to be a ticket holder. Meanwhile, at Japanese movie theaters, it's the reverse. There's plenty of seating within the public area, but in the private area, you're expected to go into the actual movie theater room. So yeah, that is an interesting thing. I only went to one Japanese theater. Who knows? Maybe others they're like different in terms of their layout. But bringing it back to the main point, yeah, I just got that very distinct memory of what that lobby looked like because I was there for maybe like half an hour waiting. I remember like where the food stalls were, where the ticket box office, I should say, was, just the seats. And this may seem like a very weird thing to, I guess, mention, but like when talking about, I guess, just distinct, I guess, memories of like specific places because you're there for a while and you like just looked around at your surrounding environment, you really just get that, you know, distinct memory. I like to call it liminal space, but liminal space is sort of different. It's more like, just like vague recollections all formed into like one image, right? You've never been to this space, or it looks familiar in your mind. You can't put your finger on it, but it brings back a specific memory, right? That's why I like liminal spaces. But yeah, like, um, you know, I feel like I would have not gotten those memories if I had not been just sitting down there. Same thing with public transport. Whenever I'm taking a train or bus, I'm often seated for a while because long journey times, and I have like lots of distinct memories, on the old V-set trains, which have been withdrawn from service. And I believe the V-set trains were the world's first fully electric and fully air conditioned double decker train. I might be wrong about that, but I heard someone say that, and I was like, oh yeah, that does make sense. Because here in Sydney, we borrowed our, I guess, designs for the double deckers after the French, because I believe it might have been the French that invented the double decker, but here in Sydney, we're known for our double decker trains, and we did make some like world class innovations when it came to our trains and the Tangara chopper brakes everyone loves to mention. But enough of my um, train knowledge. Basically, the same sort of thing applies where, when you're on public transport, you just stay in your seat. You stay in one place for a long period of time. Could be a long train trip, long bus trip, tram, ferry, monorail, even, and you just get like that distinct memory. You just, you know, you remember the color of the seats, the fabric, the windows, the outside scenery. And I still remember, riding the V sets. It wasn't too long ago when they were withdrawn, but I always remember the purple seats, the nice like vinyl seating. The only thing I didn't like was the lack of the headrest. Um, because on the new D set Marion trains they actually have a headrest, and I thought it was going to be like a very uncomfortable ride, judging by the seats. But no, it was so comfy, I nearly fell asleep on one of them. Um, so yeah, I love the new D set trains, but I do miss the V sets, and I remember the dingy toilets. If you ever been on a V set, if you ever been to the toilet on a V set, you'll know how like cramped it is and how dingy the toilets were. Um, Luckily, with the newer trains, they have like much more spacious and accessible bathrooms. But they're all distinct memories in my mind. Same with the K set trains, which have been withdrawn from service because of people breaking into the rear driver cab. Apparently, they're going to bring them back because it's only a temporary measure, but I doubt they're actually going to bring back the whole fleet. They might just do a heritage run and then fully retire them. But it's just I guess trains and public transport. It really just brings back um, those memories of me just sitting down in one place and really just absorbing things in. And moving on from trains and all that, if I have to think of another instance, when I'm on holiday, for instance, I like to just stay at one place and really absorb the environment and atmosphere. When I was in New Zealand, there was many places in Wellington alone that I just stayed in one spot, with my camera, taking some photos, but really just like absorbing everything around me. Wellington Harbour was beautiful, and naturally, when you're in a, I guess, country where you haven't been to before, in a place you haven't been to before, I should say, you really just want to, stay in one place that you really like for a long period of time. Um, Mostly for me, it's like public parks and all that. I remember, in Japan, for instance, there were a lot of parks which I just sat on the public bench for like half an hour, just really taking things in. And I took a lot of like photos on my phone that I sort of intended to be like, you know, to sort of generate the effect of liminal spaces. I actually still got those photos on my phone. I might upload them. It's mostly of like parks and all that. Like a trail that leads into a dense corridor of trees and all that. Just a bunch of like nature related photography. Which bring back those memories of me just like standing there, really just taking things in, just staying in one spot, and you know, it brings back fun memories. And I'll love to go back to Japan again and to New Zealand. But I feel like these memories can only be, I guess, like they can be relived for sure, but nothing will be my first experience there. So yeah, I do sort of miss when life was a lot slower, where it seemed a lot more slower paced, where, an hour felt like a very long time, but for me, an hour, just feels like, goes like that, I guess when you're an adult, between your 20s, from like your 20s to your 30s, I heard, those 10 years go by really fast. I heard from some people that, from the time they turn 20 till 60, that's like the quickest period of their life. And then when you turn 60, life seems to like slow down again. For me, yeah, the quickest period of my life where I felt like I was just like, constantly evolving and, just running around doing things and really just things started to accelerate was between 2021 and present right here in 2026. Um, and who knows where life will take me, honestly, because, um, you know what they say, your 20s go by really fast. And, it's already been 3 months or nearly 4 months since my 20th birthday, um, which isn't a whole lot of time, come to think about it. But, um, that, I guess, numbers only ever got to increase. And I've been really just, I guess, trying to slow things down, trying to take a hold of things. I'm just trying to stay at home, and if I have to go out, I just like to stay in one spot. I know I have to work on my Sydney A Work in Progress project. I have to be going around taking photos and videos and all that. But yeah, I've been just trying to, I guess, slow things down. Um, just trying to, I guess, really absorb everything that's been going around me. And life can also seem like that to you guys, where it just seems like it's going by too quick. And it's always good to take a break, to take a breather. You don't want your life going by too fast, the days are long, but the years are short, sort of thing. Which is why, yeah, yet again, I say, time really is an illusion. Our perceptions of time can be heavily skewed. And yeah, just to honestly enjoy it. I've been trying to do as, like, yet again, I said, even though I want to slow things down, I want to plan bigger things, Um, I want to spend my downtime planning big things that I'll remember. But I also want to, really utilize my time well and to I guess really rest and what's the word I'm looking for, to essentially you know really absorb that experience. And I guess that's what I'm trying to aim for. But yeah, in terms of, like, I guess my personal life, I'm still looking for a job. I know I keep on mentioning that in my videos, but current job market's tough right now. And from a lot of people, I've heard that 2026 to a lot of people has gone by really fast this year, and I think that's because a lot of, like, things have happened this year in terms of world events and all of that. Honestly, like, I cannot believe the start of 2025 was 1.5 years ago. I feel very old. Um, but it seems like, if when you think about it, COVID-19 was 6 years ago. Man, like, that just scares me. That COVID was 6 years ago, because a lot has happened since COVID. Um, and I feel like that can sort of skew our perception of time. You know, um, but yet again, I feel like we all need to take a breather. We all just sometimes we need to stay in one place for a while and just really do some self-reflection, to really absorb everything that's going around us, and to also use our imagination and creativity. Because sometimes creativity is, like, I shouldn't say sometimes, but creativity is birthed from limitation. All right, and a limitation can be boredom, right? Or maybe I should say creativity is birthed from limitation and boredom. I guess pick whatever, I guess, saying you like better, But I think, if boredom is a limitation, right? Something that, I guess, de-incentivizes you to work or anything, When you're just standing in one spot, you really use your boredom to your advantage. You start looking at all the things around you, When you're a child at the airport, or a child, in the grocery store waiting for your parents to end their conversation with a stranger, you're just looking at all the things around you. And I would have never remember those environments if I had not been in those environments for an extended period of time where, I wasn't bored, where I was just like in and out. But the reason why I remember the interior of Old Hungry Jack's restaurants is because I was there, seated, really looking at everything around me while I was waiting for my meal. So yeah, I guess to really conclude today's video, you know, I just want to stay in one place for, just, I guess, an appropriate amount of time. I don't want to constantly be moving around every single day. I mean, it's good exercise, but it does wear you out, and it gets you, you know, I guess you have like an increased um, likelihood of getting sick and all that. And it seems like every couple of months I usually just come down with like a mild flu or just like some you um, like fever. And I think it's just a signal for me to like slow things down a bit. But I'm doing good. So yeah, that's today's video. Sorry if it seems a bit lengthy and sort of out of tune, but it's what I thought about, I guess, staying in one place, and just like those childhood memories of, you might have not, I guess, appreciated it when you were younger, but when you were older, you sort of wish that, life was as slow as it was when you were a child. um, but that's how life works, and that's how time works. I heard, yet again, retirement goes by very slow, but your adult years, they can just speed by just like that. But anyway, that's enough of me talking, and I guess I'll catch you all tomorrow. And don't worry, I know I keep on saying this, but I will do um, a movie review or my thoughts on the third Detective Conan movie. I've been holding it off, am I? Have I? But I am looking forward to seeing that new Detective Conan movie coming out in theaters. Excuse me, I forgot the name of it, but it's the 29th film of the series. It's like the one with the motorcycle. I got a ticket to that. I will be watching it when it premieres here in Australia, which I believe is the 11th of July. So I'll be giving my thoughts on that movie. Obviously, I still got to wait for it to release, but it's nice being able to watch a Detective Conan movie in theaters. And you also got the new Jackass movie, Best and Last, which I want to watch because the first video on this channel was about Jackass. So yeah, I definitely want to watch that. But yeah, that's all I really have to say. But yeah, I guess I'll catch you later and see you tomorrow. Take care.